This is everything you need to know if you're buying a new car and want to get the best possible financing. If you guys don't know, my name's Tommy. I've been in the car business most of my adult life, done sales and finance, and now I negotiate car deals. Enough about me, let's talk about financing. There are so many falsities, and I don't know if that's a word, but we're gonna call it a word, falsities, about when we're talking about dealership financing and manufacturer financing. So the first thing I wanna talk about is how to get the best possible deal when you're financing a loan, and then I wanna talk about how to qualify for manufacturer incentive rates. So let's talk about getting the best deal. The short answer is you are going to find the best possible rates on the market. Again, I have a video that I just did, so if you want to watch that, that's a cheat sheet, but you're going to find the best possible rates. If you're buying a new car, you want to look for incentivized rates. If you are buying a used car, you want to be looking at the best rates on the market. Find that, get pre-approved. Once you feel confident you found the best possible rate, you are going to negotiate your car deal, telling the dealership you're financing the whole way through, and then at the very end, once you've agreed to numbers, you're going to say, hey, I'm pre-approved at 5.94, whatever that darn rate is. If you can beat this, I'll finance with you. And guess what's going to happen? They are going to beat the rate. Now, I know this comment's coming, so I'm going to address it right off the bat. Some people say, Tommy, you shouldn't tell them what rate you're pre-approved at because they're just going to beat it by 0.1%. Realistically, I was in finance for 6 years, guys. What I'll tell you is that if you say, hey, I'm pre-approved, I need you to get my best possible rate, all I can do as a finance manager is go and look at my best possible credit union or bank and then let you know what that rate is. I can't pull a favor or pull a string for us to beat an imaginary rate. Now, if I know your rate's 5.94, I've sent 60 deals to certain credit unions that owe me favors that do me a lot of things. So I'll call that guy up, say, hey, I have a 5.94. They're pre-approved. They're going to go with their local credit union. Can you help me out on the rate? And they're going to beat it by probably at least 0.25%. You might say, Tommy, they're only going to beat it by 0.01. If they beat it by 0.01, just finance with who you're comfortable with. I always tell the dealerships, hey, I'm willing to finance with you. I just need you to beat it by, a 0.5% at least. And normally they're going to beat it by at least 0.5%. I've seen it by a full percent. But realistically, they're going to get you whatever that best possible deal is. And you might say, Tommy, well, you're leaving money on the table. You're not really, because you did research to know what the best possible rate you could find is. So anything lower than what you could find is going to be a win. I quickly just want to demolish this myth because there's certain people, really there's one person in this space that's been talking a lot about cash down. I don't want to use names here, but realistically, he's been saying that you shouldn't tell the dealerships about cash down and you shouldn't really put cash down because it doesn't help your approval. Guys, I was in finance for 6 years. I'm going to demolish this. I am not on the car sales side. I am not on this side. I just do both. And cash down absolutely can help you get a better approval. Now, sure, there's certain circumstances where it doesn't, but there are plenty of banks that will actually give you discounts depending on their loan to value. So what that means is, let's just say you're buying a $100,000 car and your loan is 75% of that, so $75,000. It is less risk for the bank, so they're willing to give you a better rate. On top of that, you can do a shorter term loan, which means you're financing less and paying less interest. I always recommend putting as much cash down as possible. The only thing that's going to be an exception to this rule is if you're doing like a super low APR, like 0%, 0.9%, or even maybe 1.9%. If you can throw your money in the market and make money for you while you're doing that, absolutely go for it. But realistically, cash down is not a bad thing. It is a great thing. And it will get you a better approval, get you better financing, and it will make your payments lower, which is all win. I understand dealerships try to use cash down because they're trying to get you to change your own payment, but realistically, cash is good. And if you're in the car industry for any bit of time or just understand basic financing, you're going to understand this. With approved credit or qualifying credit, this is what we normally hear with manufacturer incentive rates. So I want to talk about this real quick. How do you get those? How do you qualify for those? Realistically, understand credit score isn't everything. We're talking about this. I've seen 820s get denied and I've seen 650s get tier 1 rates. So understand that the credit score is not important. There's 4 pillars: ability, stability, equity, and credit. And credit is just 25% of the equation. That being said, credit does determine the actual approval most of the time when it comes to the rate side of things, but not actually you getting a car. I digress. Well, I have other videos on that. But when we're talking about those, we're talking about a credit score, just taking that one sub-segment alone, it's going to be a 700 and above. If you're above a 700, you're fine. Now, if you fail on some of those other pillars, you might not qualify. But realistically, I would even say if you're a 670, you'd have a chance to get tier 1. Now, the reason being is that normally with banks, and again, every bank is different. So I'm going to hear this for all the salespeople say, Tommy, you're wrong. At Volkswagen, we do it differently. I understand, but 90% of the banks are like this. If you're tier 1 or tier 2, so top 2 tiers, which is 700 and above, so normally 700 to 750 and 750 to 900, you are going to get tier 1, the best credit, those advertised rates we hear about it. Once you're below that, you get tier 3, which means that, let's just say it was 0.9%, you now might get 2.9%, so you're still getting a good rate. Now, what I'll say is if you're in that tier 3 range, what will happen is if you really need that rate and you're close enough and everything seems to be lining up, maybe you have some cash down, but you're a 674, you just tell the dealership you're not willing to do the deal without that 0%. The dealership absolutely has the ability to pick up the phone and say, hey, Mr. Bank, I need help here. I have a deal that's going to fall apart if I can't get 0%. Can you get me a tier bump from tier 3 to tier 2? We do it all the time. honestly, I'll be a little life hack. As a finance manager, I did that almost every single time anybody was a tier 3 to tier 2. And again, shameless, if this is a way dealership makes money, I just might not tell the client, or I might not tell the person that they did qualify for that rate, so I can mark the rate up 2 points. So understand the dealership's probably doing this anyway. But if you just put your foot down and say, I'm not buying this car without 0% or without whatever rate is qualified for, they'll probably do it for you. But if you don't tell them and you're this close anyway, they're probably just going to call the bank, do it anyway, and then mark that rate up to that 2.9% anyway. Again, every bank's different. Not everybody lets you mark it up that much. But again, I digress. I know that I did it when I was in finance because, realistically, I'm going to mark up the rate to make money when I could in the dealership. Long video, I'm ending it now. So if you guys like this kind of content, I want you to like, follow, subscribe. If you guys want to see more of these deals that I'm getting for my clients, I want you to go to my Instagram. I post a picture every single day of a new deal that I got for my clients. I have some great deals coming. I'm super excited to share with you guys. Thank you guys so much and have a great day.